it's carbonated as a well. It's naturally carbonated. The bubbles,
So
No,
you're
not
telling
actually.
me. So you're telling me
naturally
there's a
carbonated
hole.
water.
They carbonated.
There's a hole in the ground and they pour carbonation.
No, the water don't come out the ground. You have to infuse it.
Well, okay, not specifically this brand.
Any brand.
No, water water can be naturally carbonated if you find a pool.
What's natural about carbonation?
Oh,
CO2.
what about the artesian wells that used to be at Olympia? It's the water.
It's the water.
It makes Ham's beer, huh?
Well, they all
Well, Hamm's
combined
is-
now.
yeah.
There's only like three
From the land
major.
of sky blue water.
Yeah.
Come the beer refreshing. Ham's the beer refreshing.
Oh my
Hams.
gosh! I didn't know.
Royalty check. Yo.
Okay.
Royalty
Okay.
check.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good Todd. Welcome to another episode of Old Black Men or Man Conversations. My name is David H.W. III, aka Sweet Sunny D, aka Kiki, aka whatever else you want me to be. I'm one of your co-hosts. You are.
Still real Cliff Barnes. And you are.
Oh, what's my name? Gary Green, street philosopher. And if you're wondering about the seating, I've been downgraded to third position. I was told I need to be more compelling. So if I say something today, it sounds like I made it up. I may have.
He's trying to get your seat back.
That's up for you to decide.
We will see.
And you know, that's why I like being black.
Because I need to be more compelling?
Yes.
Whoa.
You know what? There are a lot of reasons people like being black. I never heard that one, but I'm not mad at it.
That's a
Black
good-
power.
Okay, people like that. All right.
Power to the philosopher.
Power to the people.
Can I solve a problem for you today?
Yes, you can.
All right, lay it on. No, that's wrong. Let me hear it.
Better.
I just want to know why people like Herschel Walker get to be who they are.
I don't know. Are you're obsessed with that, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I kind of thought so.
Are you obsessed or you just haven't found an answer that allows you to move on?
Oh,
Both.
here. Did you want? Oh, did you want?
Both.
Oh, sure. There you go.
Both.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you know Herschel personally?
No.
Do you want to know Herschel?
No.
So you don't want to know Herschel, but you want to know why Herschel is like who he is. So you want to go through a third party Herschel, like
I think we all know a Herschel. Our
You
own
do?
personal Herschel.
yeah.
Really?
Well, I don't know.
I've never met her. I mean,
Well, I never knew that he was that interested in politics until it just all popped up.
well, I didn't know he was that smart.
Well,
That's smart.
theoretically, he went to college.
He went to Georgia, dude.
Okay.
What, is Georgia not full of smart people?
They're two-time national champions now.
Exactly.
But back then,
Back then, they was the football capital of America. They've always been.
what happened to Alabama?
Georgia, Alabama, they're the same.
Not on the map.
Fix the map.
We've been talking to y'all about this map forever now.
That damn map is wrong. Is that what you said? Georgia.
They're the same.
What
Look,
about
Georgia, Alabama,
LSU?
Mississippi? That's Louisiana. They're all the same.
Well, I know. Well, I like Louisiana. I was born there.
Well, I ain't got nothing against the South. I'm just saying Georgia, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, they're all the same. We're all about football. And you don't have to be smart. Marcus Dupree. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times that's true because they do like, you know. But I think they're trying to stop that now.
Right.
Because I mean, you have to have more academics than you used to have.
Right.
More
Yeah.
academics.
Yeah, as opposed to athletics. Back in the day, they would just let them in and they would give them all kind of like basket weaving and kind of, you know, for electives and stuff. And then they would just ease them through like the basic classes and then use up their eligibility and then turn them out in the street.
Yeah, but you couldn't have the best running back in your conference flunking class.
That's what I'm talking
right.
about.
That's
So-
why he had basket weaving.
That's what I'm talking about. So they give them easy classes,
By
and
design.
they kind of hold them by a different standard than the other people that are not star football players.
Well, they hold them too. Who do you follow in America? The money.
Well, of course.
The football program makes a lot of money for the school.
Yeah, but the kids are just now starting to make money. How long did that take?
Oh,
We don't
no,
know.
no, the money's
Yeah.
just legal now. They've always made money.
No, but more of them can make money now because it's more above board.
It's yes and no for that. I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
They've always been making money, but
Certainly.
now
I have a
it's
personal-
more legal.
I have a personal testimony to that. I came out of Franklin High School in 1968, right?
That's what I hear. Oh wait, I was there.
You were there.
Well,
that's what I hear.
I was there.
Well, I had a two-pronged scholarship offer to go to UW. It wasn't to play football, it was to do drama, right? But I turned it down, right? But they were still talking to me. The football program was talking to me,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So they made this deal. So why don't you go out here to Shoreline, which at that point still had football.
Had a football team, yeah.
Right? And I had a pair of glasses that were the old 60s glasses that, you know, one arm was broken and
Right.
this arm here was taped, right?
There's tape on it, yeah.
They brought me a pair of glasses so I'd go to Shoreline.
Mm-hmm.
UW paid for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just a flunky. I wasn't nobody.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, they needed bodies on the football team.
Well, and I said all that to say that there's always been some kind of
oh, of course.
pit pro quo.
Do
yes,
the
yeah,
name
of
Billy
course,
Joe
of course.
Herbert ring a bell? I mean, you know, back in them days, they ended up ending Don James' career. Don James said, "No, I ain't gonna deal with it." He quit
Yeah.
behind all of the
The
under the
alumni,
table. Under the table, you know, because guys would have jobs that they may or may not have to show up for
Yeah.
during the summer.
Oh,
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that was
Yeah.
going on, but now it's more above board with the NIL.
NIL.
and the internet and cameras everywhere.
Well,
It's above board because it has to be, but they still want it in the shadows.
but it took them so long. I mean, football had been around for 150 years.
I know, but this is 2023, and they're trying to repeal the Voting Rights Act. Well, you say it took so long
Yeah.
because they're always
We do.
You always have an opposition, so it's always gonna
Yeah.
take.
Don't y'all realize that we were part of the first legal voting class as far as blacks go? Because we did not actually get the right to vote until the mid-60s.
I was
holistically
when the voting age
I mean blacks.
yeah, when the voting age went down to went down to 18, I was already over 21. Because we were talking about, well, we should be able, you
Well,
know,
I need,
'cause
I
that
need-
was the whole thing about, well,
Drinking.
okay, these kids are old enough to go to Vietnam
Right.
and fight, but they can't vote, they can't drink, they can't
yeah.
buy cigarettes at home.
All of
That's-
that, the what they call the legal age,
Yeah.
in this country works on my last nerve, because they say you legal to go to jail, you legal to go to war,
Right.
you know, and okay, you can buy some cigarettes. Outside of that, you can't do nothing. It's like, no, you don't tell me nothing. If you can send me to go fight on your behalf to
Yeah.
death,
So-
I can get a drink.
So how would you have handled it? Now, my dad grew up in North Carolina, went off to Korea, did the Air Force thing.
Yep.
His father, my grandfather, passed away 1961, 62, something like that. So he goes back to North Carolina to bury his dad. He's in his full Air Force regalia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got thrown out of a bar, wouldn't let him buy any cigarettes. You dig?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got the uniform on. Them suckers, I mean, how would you have handled that?
What, being in that position, or because I'm more you when it comes to the armed forces. Nah, I'm good. I ain't going. You know, so I can't really honestly speak to what I would have done if I was in that position, because I would have done everything to not have that uniform in my possession. Now, given if I was there like that, how would I handle it? I don't know. I think it's a different time period. I grew up from the 80s on.
Yeah.
You know, this was the 60s. It's a different time.
And the 50s.
Yeah, and so 50. So it's a different time, and you know what I can do in the streets now, as far as how I can defend myself, is looked at from the authoritative standpoint differently than if I would have done that, you know, in '61. So I don't know.
That's a good point, because I've talked to, and it's been a while, kids that, and this is about slavery. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't have been beaten. Me would know what. Right. I'd have busted a cap in his ass. It's like,
you wouldn't
that's
have
a whole different point. Somebody dropped that pin in time back here.
And even though back then our ancestors was tough as hell.
Yeah.
You know what?
What they did, because
That's something I've always wondered about.
we was talking, and few friends of mine, comics and stuff, were sitting around talking, and somebody said, "Yeah, them guys was tough. Like this generation, our generation, they'd have beat our ass in everything."
Yeah.
Whatever it was, because they had to be that way because of the circumstances that they were put in.
Yeah, to survive.
So they was to survive that. They was tough.
Yeah, they were tough.
And then you come up, and even up into the 20th century, you know, the Depression. A lot of black people. Now, first of all, you can't get a job anyway. Not all the white folks is unemployed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and they was tough. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, we look around, like I look around now and I'm saying, you know what? These kids are soft, right? Because of the things compared to even us.
Yeah.
And then our parents, you know, because I mean the whole thing is.
But don't you think that type of attitude, philosophy, is generational? Because each generation looks back and goes, man.
But the thing is, but the thing is, what happens is, progress makes us less tough. Well, because we got so much, like now, right now, there's so much stuff that we didn't have. That the kids, it's like back in the day, you know, it's like you see these kids and they're on the thing, blah, 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 and go, damn, we used to play those games.
So here's what I would say. I say you're right. It's always a progression when you think about the generations. So I think that yes, as the generations go forward, there are certain struggles that are kind of eliminated for whatever reasons, progress. But I don't know if that necessarily. Now on a personal level, I do kind of agree with the sentiment that, you know, I did a video, kids born in the 80s, we walk into a wall, we like shrug it off, whatever. Kids born in the 90s run into the wall and be like, ah, damn it. Kids born in the 2000s run into the wall, they fall over and they say my pussy hurts. Okay, so I get that,
You know.
but I don't want to negate the fact that just because we don't have the same problems, in today's generation may not have the same problem as yesterday's generation, but there are different ones, especially when you add in the social media. The social
Right.
media is a problem
Right.
that y'all didn't really have to deal with.
Intellectually, there's been advances.
Right, right.
Physically, there's been decline.
That
Because
depends. You know, some of these kids at middle school and high school, I don't know what they feeding these people,
no,
but they're
but,
huge.
they're the exception rather than the rule.
Your
But
nephew is a good example.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching a race. Okay. There's 10 people in the race, and this Negro is a 440, right?
Right.
Rounding 220. He's still in last place, right? So I turn my back and I look back around, and this nigga's 20 yards ahead of everybody.
Well, yeah. Because
What the hell happened?
But that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. You have in athletics, just specifically in athletics, these children are far beyond what the athletes used to be back then. Because now, in 1968, we had one of the first 300-pound football players in the state, maybe in the region.
Bob Curley.
Yeah.
Bob
Curley.
Curley, of course. And he was like 6'7" and weighed 300 plus pounds.
Oh,
The rest of the line was averaging about maybe 6'2", 6'3", and some of them was 5'11",
yeah, that would be big.
and they weighed like barely 190 pounds.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, even go back to like Jim Brown
yeah.
in the late 50s. Cornerbacks was like 175 pounds.
Right.
Jim Brown was 200 pounds and fast.
And
So
See,
it was
but
like-
I also
Hey.
think that sports, is in particular, sports, from their origins to now, you know what? If on the level of fairness, if black folks and any race really, Latinos, if they were allowed to participate equally from the origins, I don't necessarily think that the sport would be advanced, as advanced to, today as it would have been then. Because if the people that had the talent were actually allowed to play, you would have had a bunch of Jim Browns. You'd have had when I say a bunch,
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's an anomaly, but you would have had people
You would have had a
that
bunch
were
of
great at the sports,
better athletes.
as
Yeah.
opposed to we have a quota of 99.8% white. Go find you a nigga or two. That if it was open more, then you would have seen more athletes do things. And so now because you like basketball, you have your Dr. J's. You have these guys that did these amazing things.
Right.
But now you have a plethora. You have a Michael Jordan, LeBron. Well, let's leave Mike out of this.
Right.
LeBron James, Steph Curry, my man who be dunking. No, you got all these superstars
Antetokounmpo
that are showing
and
all of
Embiid.
their talent. And it's like, they're advancing the sport with their talent. But that could have happened
If they
back in
allowed-
'58.
If they'd allowed them practice.
It actually could have happened back in '49. Married my mom and joined the Air Forces because I was on the way. But he had an offer to play basketball and football for the Ohio State back in 1949.
Oh, Buckeyes.
Well, I mean, could have happened, yes.
Right. But it
Did-
wouldn't have happened on the same scale.
It wouldn't have happened in this country because racism and colonialism
Are
has
the
always
same. They're really the same.
defined.
Yeah.
Those that are up here, they make the laws, they have the police, they're up here forever, the Illuminati. Everybody else, fuck you. So,
But-
yes, it could have happened, but
But the whole
historically
thing
it
is-
wasn't going to happen.
But the whole thing is, it was only those people that were allowed to excel.
Right. And
Through
there's only
necessity.
one.
You know,
And
I
it
mean,
was only
it's-
one at a time, please.
yeah. I mean, you go back to Jesse Owens and the Olympics in Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was one of the people on my list. I couldn't think of his name.
And
That's
they had, you know, like Hitler and all his superior race and this whole bullshit. All right. And this brother went over there and just like blew everybody away.
Yes.
But you don't know, you don't hear about the one or two other black people that
Right.
may have been on that team that didn't excel, but
Right.
you know, like who won? Who came in second in them races? You never know.
Right. Right.
You always forget the second place person, but in a lot of cases, as things go on, it's just like John Carlos,
Yeah.
Tommy Smith.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, who actually won that?
Carlos won it. Smith was bronze.
Yeah, he was third. See,
Right. The little. I think he's an Australian little white dude came in second, but he didn't have a glove. But when he got back,
Michael had it.
But when he got back to Australia, he was ostracized there the same way
Yeah.
Tommy and John were here.
Yeah.
And he's white. He was Australian, and he came and he got a silver medal.
Yeah.
And they still ostracized his ass just the way the brothers was ostracized here. You know?
Hey, why do y'all think us as spectators, and I say us just in a very general sense,
you put that
us as
away.
spectators go so hard at these professional athletes that are doing something, and I mean this in the sense of we were watching them play the game and be like, man, you should be doing that. You know, we critique like we're Skip Bayless, as if we know how to do their job. And again, this is in any sports that we just be like, you're trash. You know, you get out of here. Why do we do that as a society? Is it just emotion?
Because
We're winners. We're winners.
Because in our minds, you have to achieve perfection in what you're doing, and it's not possible.
And not only that,
Human beings are never going to be
but
perfect.
we're winners, and you gotta win. If you're a winner, if you're not a winner, you're a loser.
Right.
And we
If
can't
you don't-
believe to be losers.
it's like your boy said, if you don't come in first, the rest of it, it's like that guy came in second. Oh, he's the first of the losers.
Yeah.
Sports as we know it go a long way back
You
to
know.
the Olympics, thousands of years back. It's,
Back to the gladiators.
yeah. I'm saying
Yes.
it was you had to win. Your tribe had to win.
Right.
One tribe had to die or leave the water hole. One tribe had to give it up.
Yep.
So, I mean, that our sports is a carryover from the
Well,
Olympics were developed.
It's like professional sports. It's strictly entertainment. Football stops being a sport like high school level. What happens is, as they say, the cream rises to the top. So you get all these 5-star and 4-star, and they rate them all this guy, right? So the thing is, it's those guys are aspiring to go to the game, to go to the league. The rest of them kids, they just making contacts.
Yeah, yeah,
And they're
socializing.
networking.
Yeah.
And it's like then they go to college. That originally was a sport, but when it was invented, it was a sport for rich guys.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a whole lot of rich black folks
No.
that could go to Harvard and Yale where football, started over there in the Northeast. So the whole thing is, they made the rules, the NCAA, and they made some crazy rules that excluded a lot of folks
So, based on society. I mean,
based on the money trail that we
Yeah.
always talk
follow
about.
the money.
Follow the money.
Yeah.
The NCAA was making billions and billions of dollars off of kids who was eating top ramen and Fritos and shit, and trying to go to school, try to maintain a specific grade point,
Yeah.
and go to practice in them days twice a day. They used to have 2-a-days.
Yeah. That's
And then they had meetings,
Yeah.
and you still had to study. And so, I mean, but they weren't getting compensated at all, except as they're getting a free ride. Well, that's fine.
Well, yeah,
But I
but
mean-
on what?
No, that's what they
Scholarship.
said. They're
Yeah.
giving them a 4-year education
Yeah.
for free. and that was their payment.
So what's that called?
Bubbly,
What?
bubbly. You get royalties?
Not
For
yet.
who?
Okay, then I won't show you. I'm thinking bubbly.
Yes. Buble?
Michael.
Buble?
It's just water. It's
Water?
carbonated, naturally carbonated water.
How do you naturally carbonate water?
So it's flavorless pop.
It comes that way.
Pretty much.
No,
it's
it don't
difficult.
come that way. I ain't never had no carbonated water come that way. You
Well,
gotta do something.
you're going to the wrong well. It's carbonated at a well. It's naturally carbonated. The bubbles,
So
No,
so
not
you're telling
actually.
me. So you're telling me
naturally
there's a hole.
carbonated
They
water.
carbonated.
There's a hole in the ground and they pour carbonation.
No, the
No.
water don't come out the ground. You have to infuse it.
Well, okay, not specifically this brand.
Any brand.
No, water water can be naturally carbonated if you find a pool.
What's natural about carbonation?
Oh,
CO2?
what about the artesian wells that used to be at Olympia? It's the water.
It's the water.
It makes Ham's beer, huh?
Well, they all
Well, Hamm's
combined
is-
now.
yeah.
There's only like three
From the land
major.
of sky blue water.
Yeah.
Come the beer refreshing. Ham's the beer refreshing.
Oh my
Hams.
gosh! I didn't know.
Royalty check. Yo!
Okay,
Royalty
okay.
check. Yes, sir.
The
Royalty check.
The commercial's over. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. What the
No,
hell?
you never heard of naturally carbonated springs?
I ain't heard of carbonated shit.
Well,
I didn't say it was carbonated shit.
We wasn't talking about feces at the moment.
Oh,
No.
wait, he worked shit into the conversation.
He did.
Royalty check. This guy did.
No, I've never heard of that. I always thought carbonation was something that, like Alka-Seltzer, you got a pill, you drop it in the water,
True.
and now it's carbonated.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But see,
CO2
there is naturally carbonated, but it's not as like everything. All the water that you run into is not carbonated, but there's certain places that you
Well, I don't
go.
want to run in any water that's carbonated.
You
You
know.
know why? Because it's not natural.
It is natural.
You make me feel like a
It's natural.
Wait a minute.
You are a carbon-based life form.
Wait, you're doing your own setups now. You're doing your own lead-ins.
Yeah, man.
I see you. You only did that.
Set up
Have a
my.
good week.
He said, "Let me set up my joke real quick."
Don't need us. Wow.
It's just like in practice where you throw the ball up, smack it yourself.
That used to be fun.
I'm sure.
So I have a question because I don't want this to get away from us. So
Uh-huh.
seem disjointed. How do you feel about Clarence Thomas compared to the way you feel about Herschel Walker?
I often wonder if they're the same person.
Well, then and Kanye, right?
Yeah,
So,
Just like-
Michael and,
3 in 1, the Holy
So-
Trinity.
so Herschel Thomas and Kanye are all the same person. Because you never see them at the same
Same
place
time.
at the same time.
How do you feel about Clark Kent and Superman? Are they the same person or different?
I couldn't figure out why they couldn't tell.
The glasses?
I mean,
The magical
and then there was a
glasses?
couple of times where he had the glasses off and he was still wearing the suit and they still couldn't tell.
There's Clark? Wow.
You know, it's like you never see them at the same
Clark
place.
is not
It's the
the same size as
kryptonite.
Superman?
It's the kryptonite.
No, the thing about it is though, okay, when we was
The
kids,
Israelites.
they had the Adventures of Superman, you know, Faster Than a Speeding Bullet, et
Pew.
cetera, et cetera.
That was
More
on last
popular.
night, dude.
I know they're
On
bringing
Channel
it back.
45.
Yeah.
It's on Saturdays, Sundays at 11.
It's,
And
it's on every.
TV.
But anyway,
Yeah.
the whole thing is, what used to trip me out, but it didn't when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But as you watch it, you know, and I've been watching throughout the years, they would bring it back. Now it's total syndication because like there's so many channels they need content.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is, it's like this guy stands here, he does like this, boom, and the guy empties the gun, pow, 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 right? He stands there, 6 shots, then the guy throws a gun, he ducks. I mean, when you didn't really notice that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then when he jumps out the window, right? Now you think, okay, he's gonna fly, you jump out the window, his trajectory would be this way.
Goes like
He
that.
would jump out the window and go down, so it's like,
Well, he has
You
to
know.
build up speed.
yeah, it's kind of like them gliders you throw.
Right,
it.
right.
They go down and then they go,
Right.
they go up.
You got to build up speed.
But it's so weird. You watch a lot of the old shows,
Right.
And the special effects, like when you was kids, when we was like 5, 6, 7, when the original Superman was on TV like regularly, and you
4:30.
didn't notice that stuff.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
you did. It's like when the cowboys used to fight, their hats would never.
Never.
How the hell you can roll around in the dirt and your hat doesn't come? That's pimping.
No, but the deal is, it's like even like before we was born, they used to have these cereals. Remember Rocket Man?
Well, before I was born, no, I don't.
Rocket Man used to be a cereal from like the 30s or the 40s.
Oh yeah.
And when
yeah.
we was like little kids, they would bring it back. And my boy
Like
had
Rocket.
no, he had
Buck Rogers.
yeah, well
Buck
that's
Rogers,
the same
yeah.
kind of thing. And he had he had 2 controls on the thing. It said slow, fast, up, down. And he would put his little helmet on, and he would leap up in the sky. And then, speaking of Buck Rogers, right? Remember when the rocket would be going across the screen, and they have a flame coming out the back, but the flame would be going up.
Going up, yeah.
I mean, the special effects have come a long way.
Well,
Now
when
you
you're a
got
kid-
now you got CGI, so
Yeah.
you can do anything you want. Now you can take 2 people and make it look like 10,000.
Yeah.
You know, but back in the day,
like-
I just was
but I-
amazed at
I
the
really do.
special effects.
Getting back to your special effects question, I used to really admire Clarence Thomas. Then I saw his wife, and things kind of changed.
What's her name, Jenny?
Her name is. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So okay, when you say you used to it. Oh
Yeah,
did
she
can
would.
you cut that?
That came out loud. She was.
Did I say that?
That came out loud.
Oh, I did say that.
Yeah, I swear it's like you got a bubble here, just trying to grab that back. No, that's
So-
out there.
You say you
Anyway.
used to. You didn't say you used to like him. You said you used to admire him.
Yeah.
Admire him.
Yeah.
At what part in his political career was it? Post Supreme Court or pre?
It wasn't political.
Pre.
It was judicial.
No, it was
No, I'm saying when. At what point did he used to?
pre.
No, but he was not political. It was all judicial. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't running for an office.
Okay, true.
Yeah, in my opinion, if you're with the government, it's all politics.
Well, yeah,
You ain't gotta break it down no
It's
further.
all under a big bubble, but the big bubble is politics. But they break it down and he didn't have to run for anything.
But I think you said what pre him even
Right.
fucking with the government is when you admired him.
Yeah.
Okay, then
Yeah,
that's what.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because with Anita Thomas, Anita Hill,
Anita Hill,
he brought up the Long Dong Silver.
right? Allegedly,
Yeah,
and then there
and
was
that
then-
showed he was
and-
a regular guy.
and then there was pubic hair on the Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
On the Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola
There
can.
was a Coca-Cola can,
Yeah.
and there was a hair on it, and somehow he commented that it was a pubic hair.
That's when you liked it.
Yeah, because I admired his sense of humor. Because
You admired
obviously,
his freakiness.
That's what it was.
All right, let's bring it on down. I admire his intellectual sense of humor. Shit. Oh, shoot.
You admire his freakosity.
Yeah, I used to read Playboy for the articles too. So
hey,
Yeah,
speaking of Clarence Thomas, y'all see Ye's new wife?
Who?
Oh, is he married?
Yeah.
They said he came back from. Remember, we were talking a few weeks ago and nobody could find him.
Yeah, he got married.
So when he came back,
Yay.
yay.
Oh,
So
I
when
did-
he when he came back, they like they got he's wearing a ring on his left ring finger, and then there's this little honey with him. So they said, oh, did Kanye run off and get married?
Well, her family came out and said it was a great wedding. blah, blah, blah.
It was a big wedding.
It was a great wedding.
So they're gonna try to bring his career back, because wasn't she the CEO of
Right.
one of his?
Right. Designing or something.
Like, yes.
That's why you follow the money. They say, no, we bringing Ye back. Shit.
Yeah.
There's still money in Ye.
In a big way.
We
She
still
looks
can
exactly like Kim Kardashian too.
shove some
Yeah, she do.
monies out.
She
for
does
her.
have that Kardashian look.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, did you know 103T dated Courtney or Kim? Or one
Kim,
of them?
yeah, the is he the old? No, he is the youngest member of 3T. Tito Jackson's youngest son used to date Kim Kardashian way back in the day. The
Yeah.
Kardashians were family friends to the Jacksons back in the day.
Well,
Oh,
that was
another low key
that
just
was
nugget
back when the dad was
of
alive.
trivia. So you know Paris Hilton
Yeah.
and Paris Jackson, Michael's daughter.
Right.
Well, Michael Jackson, Paris Hilton's mother, and another lady, they used to hang out way back in the day, just the three of them as a group. And they made a pact that when they each had a child, they would name them Paris. That's why you have Paris Hilton, Paris Jackson, and the other lady didn't have a child, but she had a dog, so there's a dog named Paris. Just random nugget of why Michael Jackson's daughter's name is Paris and why Paris Hilton's name is Paris. Because the three of them used to love to go to Paris, and they made a pact. Random.
Paris Hilton is a
Well, you know,
hotel
actually,
and a person.
Is who?
There's a hotel and a person.
But at the same time?
Yeah.
Well, at least, in
the
Paris.
Because the Paris Hilton is in Paris, and then when she was born, they named
But
it
they
Paris,
might
so
call
it's
that
Paris
the Hilton
Right.
Paris, not
But
the Paris
the thing
Hilton.
is, you know, it's like people, yeah, you know, I stayed in the Paris Hilton,
I stayed in
and you're going like, wait,
I
what?
stayed in
you know what?
Paris.
Wait, what did you say?
Hold on, there's too much.
Yeah, wait, what?
I'm sorry.
Well,
So what I originally wanted to name you
Oh,
was Solomon Jerome.
no.
Solomon Jerome?
Yeah,
Solomon. I know somebody named Solomon, so I'm not going to, you know, but.
SJ, no, CJ's much better than
Of
SJ.
course
Solomon.
it is now, but
Okay, where did Solomon come from?
Bible.
Other than the Bible?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That was
Because I
back,
didn't know nobody named Solomon.
that was back in his ultra religious phase.
Solomon. Yeah, I don't,
You were
I look like a Solomon to y'all.
Well, at that angle. I'm right.
You look like a Henry at that angle.
Henry Solomon.
I don't know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, that's a good
Solomon.
question. What were other names that you guys thought about naming your children that didn't make the cut?
Oh, well, there was no doubt that my son was going to be named after me because my grandfather, senior, said, you know, what had happened was my wife went to New Orleans with my family and I couldn't go or whatever, I was here. But when my grandfather met my wife, he told her she was pregnant before she knew it. And he said, it's going to be a boy and his name has to be my name.
Mhm.
So that, you know, that was, but as far as my daughter, let me see. I think Ebony was one that my wife was throwing around. I was already, I said, I want the name of this. And so that's, you know, but, and,
What about you, Pop?
You know, actually, other than Solomon Jerome, and I actually thought your sister was going to be a boy.
Okay.
well, we didn't have
So you
no-
guys didn't do,
we didn't have them gender reveal.
I was about to say,
parties
did
yet.
you find out when
Latanya
she was
Smith.
born that she was a girl?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
back in the day, they didn't have the way that they have now to determine
Right.
No, but that was only in 85. When did they come? Or 83 for her, I guess.
True that.
But
Yeah.
they
That wasn't that long ago now.
Well, it's quite a,
Actually, you know what? I was
Yeah.
just told online. I did my story or school ride chronicles, and I don't know if you watched it, but the girls, I told them what year you were born, and they freaked out. Like,
Yeah.
that was so long. Oh my god! And then I said, what year was your mom born? It's like 83, and I was like, well, what year was I born? And they were like 87, 90. So my response, I said 90. That makes me sound like I'm a teenager. I was not born in the 90s. I was born in the 80s. But then Dana Jackson commented it, and she said, you do realize that 90s was like 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you're not a teenager by anybody's
Right.
standards by saying that. And I'm like, you're right.
You're right.
It's been so long. I can't say the 90s like it was just
old.
yesterday anymore.
Because
Because
my son was born in the 70s. My daughter was born in the 80s. So he's Gen X and she's a millennial.
You're the same.
Is there
Yeah.
something called a Gen Z now? or
There's
something?
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Z, the last letter of the Arabic alphabet.
yeah, but I think there's one after that. I think,
I think they're trying to create,
yeah.
but because those kids were so young,
I mean, yeah, I don't.
now they're getting to be
Yeah.
a force in the,
Yeah.
I guess, in the
It's weird to
economy
think
and the
about,
society.
you know, I like to look at the span of time by wars that we have.
Mhm.
I mean, because they're pretty predictable. They're about every 10 years. But it's weird to think that 9/11, I remember, for me, now there are things that have happened in history that you guys remember.
Mhm.
For me, I remember 9/11. I saw it happen.
So did I.
And it's so weird that there are full-grown people who were not born when that happened.
Yeah.
And, with that, I was just like, wow, that's crazy to me.
Yeah. I remember laying there in bed because I worked swing shift. And I remember TV was on, and I remember saying, and I remember whatever her name was saying, look at that, there's going into that building. I went,
Yeah.
eh?
The first, yeah, because it was like, when I first heard about it, because I was asleep, woke up, oh, plane crashed it, and the first thing I thought of was back in the 40s, a B-24 had crashed into the Empire State Building in the fog. And so I'm thinking, oh man, how the hell, I mean, it wasn't a foggy day, how did they miss Idlewild or whatever and crash into this building? And while everybody talk about that, here come the other ones. Like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Some shit's going on. So, you know.
I was almost late for work when that came on. I was getting ready for work.
Lots of folks was late
and the
for
TV
work.
was on. I
Yeah.
couldn't hear it, but I could see it was a news report, and there was smoke coming this way
Yeah.
out of a building. I didn't know what building it was at the time. Smoke coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So then it turned up the volume. Call my job. I'm gonna be a little late today.
Yeah.
And I'm watching this, and they're trying to figure out. It came, something
Here
came
come the
this
other
way
one. Right.
from the back and hit the other building.
Yeah, that's some crazy
Yeah, well,
stuff.
they canceled work at Boeing that day.
Cause the last,
Yeah.
I remember
the
that.
last time when they tried to blow up their twin towers, it was from the bottom.
From the
There were a bunch of people.
No, this time they
Pickup truck
blew
or
it from the
something?
bottom too.
They had, yeah. Well,
Well,
the
then
thing
they-
is, you know, they was
with
talking.
fertilizer, the fertilizer truck.
No, that was Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay.
Where the guy had the truck full of fertilizer. This was some other kind, I don't know, whatever kind of explosive. But they blew it up at the bottom, the garages, and you know, like those buildings had.
Or you're
so
talking
many-
about 9/11, right?
No. The first time they tried to.
Oh, back in the-
blow up-
yeah.
Yeah, to
Yeah.
blow up the twin towers, it was
Yeah.
from the bottom, because that thing has many levels underneath the 100 and however many
Right.
stories up from the plaza level. You know, it's just like this building downtown, Columbia Tower.
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
several, I mean,
Yes.
and a big food court and all this stuff.
Right.
Yeah, well, bigger than that. And so they blew it up down there and everything, you know, they managed to fix it. But when this happened, and then it fell, you know, that's when all the conspiracy thought.
No, it is a conspiracy.
No, that's not.
A conspiracy ain't nothing but a plan.
No, but the whole point is,
plane.
it was like, okay, they crashed into it, but basically the deal was the way it fell.
I think here's the deal. When they blew it up, when they tried to blow it up from the bottom the first time,
Right.
they were on the right track. You have to take out the base in order for something that big to fall. But the second time they did it, 9/11, I think they got it right. They blew out the bases and then hit it from the top and made it weaker up there as well.
Well, the thing is, it's like you have it's a lot
Or
of
the
weight.
middle-
If you
middle
take
top.
If you take stuff out of the middle, then you have all this weight coming down. Theoretically, that's the way it was designed, because if something like that happened and it fell one way or the other, you're gonna take out like blocks and blocks and blocks.
And you look at it, what happened?
And the way
It
it
was
came
a
down-
controlled demolition. It fell in
That's
its
the way
own, as they say, in its own
Came
footprint.
straight down in its own footprint, and then the other one followed it real quickly.
Okay,
But then another one went
Wait,
down.
hold, was that what? What were you about to say?
What you say?
you were talking about conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones I heard was the reason the first plane hit where it hit was the pilot's wife was going to divorce him. And he said, yeah, that's fine, but you're not going to take what's ever in your office. So he aimed for her.
Ah, interesting.
Conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, well that's the problem that I have with planes.
He called her when he was 30 feet out.
Hey, look out the window. That ain't
like,
me. That's
hey,
just a theory I
and
heard.
they jump in the window. Yeah, that's me.
Oh man.
Knock knock. But it's I don't know. It's kind of it's like when you're flying and stuff. When people say that when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, right? Now I'm thinking, what if I'm on the plane when it's the pilot's time to go?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I'm just a victim of circumstance. It was his time, not mine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Wait, it ain't my time. Here, I got the piece of
You
paper.
know, right? I got the schedule, the itinerary.
Tick, tock,
Time.
tock, tock, time,
Time.
time. Time has come today.
Time.
Yeah.
I knew it.
He said, "Cliff, I saw it coming. I knew it was happening."
That was the Chambers brothers.
The Chambers Brothers.
Yeah.
So-
One hit wonders.
Do you subscribe to this philosophy? If you're on a plane, just before it crashes, do you try to jump up in the air?
Depends on if you're in the back of the plane or not.
I don't know.
You haven't tried that? Okay.
I have this thing that when I get on the plane, I say under my breath, because you got to say it out loud. I mean, you got to say it right.
Right.
Hope the plane don't crash.
See, the thing about it is, now, okay, the one time I did get a chance to fly first class, so okay, that's fine. But when I'm flying like coach, I want to be in the back of the plane. Because most planes crash like this, and they very rarely crash like that.
Yeah.
So, you may have a better chance.
That's for real.
I mean,
You
look,
may have a better chance.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a lot of people survive plane crashes, but they die in the fire
Yes.
once the plane crashes. In other words, before there's a fire, there might have been another 40 or 50 people that were still alive once the plane crashed. But then you have
I'm gonna tell you what.
aviation fuel all over.
I always
the place.
thought about
And
if
plastic burning and shit.
if a plane going down, I just feel like we need to work as a team to get one of these doors open so that when we're close enough to the ground, maybe I can jump out. You know what I'm saying? Give me a little tuck and roll action.
That works when you fall out of a car, unless it has suicide doors. That works when you jump out of a car. But that plane's gonna be going about.
Well, at that point, it don't matter because it's like, well, I'm gonna die, so I'm
So,
gonna,
yeah, but then,
might as well try to get my little ninja on or something.
Look, your legs will be all smashed up. You'll only be about this tall
But will I be live?
For a while. I mean,
until the fuel explodes.
No, I'm out now. I'm sprawled out in the grass somewhere. The
Yeah.
plane over there.
Yeah, but when the fuel explodes, there's, you know.
I don't want no mess.
But no, I mean the thing is,
Is that
you
like
just
Papa
have
don't
to.
take no mess?
Is it what?
Papa don't take no
No, you know what? Papa don't take no mess because
Papa don't.
James Brown, when he went over to Vietnam, his plane was on fire,
That's
and he was
what
like, "I ain't taking no mess," and they landed.
And they made a song out of it too.
Yeah.
Papa
Well,
don't take no mess.
But hey, I mean the thing is, you know, you just have to have faith. I mean, because I mean, just driving around every day, you know, boom, you could be gone.
Hey, now, my
But,
question is,
yeah.
speaking of faith, have y'all ever seen Judge Faith on TV?
Just
Yes.
faith, yeah.
What
boy.
channel?
It's been so long ago. One of them. I mean, they got so many judges.
There's I don't know what 200 channels, so maybe one of them she's
Yeah.
on. You find her. And I don't know if she's on streaming or
Is she
regular
still
cable or she's
Huh?
still around.
She's still alive.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, not alive. If does she still have her? Is it in syndication? Does she
Right.
no, it's on streaming.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
TV
With all,
show?
the,
It's
with
on
all,
the TV.
with all, the
Streaming
all these
Oh,
streaming
streaming, yeah.
services.
Oh, one last
Yeah.
thing. This for real, kids. You're on a plane and it doesn't feel right. Something happens. Watch the flight attendants.
Oh,
The flight attendants are your clue as to how bad the shit is.
That's true.
If they're just regular, are you done with that tray, sir? And it's going bling. The captain will like everybody sit down, bring your ass out of the bathrooms and have a seat, put
Right.
your
Put
seatbelt on.
seatbelt on.
If they're just like, the plane's jumping all up and down, and they're just, oh, would you like something else to drink?
Mm-hmm.
But if the flight attendants are like, oh shit, it's for real. Then try to be like CJ. Hey, sir, get up. I need to sit by the door.
I need to sit right there.
Hey,
For you to
look.
change seats with
But
you.
now the problem is,
Whenever they
a lot
try to
of
give me that emergency exit, I'll take it. Let me just be here.
But
First,
when
right,
you're by
right.
the emergency door now, is that in front of the wing or behind the wing? Or is it on the wing?
You're right. I don't want. I hope.
Because you
I
don't
want
want
it to
to
be
jump
behind.
out if it's in front.
Yeah, I want to be. I want it to be behind.
It'd be like, fuck that, I'm up.
You hear something. Whee! You see asshole and shit coming out of your mouth.
Somebody, is that an asshole?
Oh,
What's for
man.
dinner? Shit.
Well, you know.
So, yeah.
But yeah, I can't recall, but I said, man, I'm too old to be sitting by the emergency seat. I can't turn this handle. Get one of them young athletes over here. I'll sit next to him.
So,
That way, if he
another
jumps
conspiracy
out-
theory. Do you think they don't put large people by the emergency exits on purpose?
Yes.
How do
No, I don't think.
How do they know that you're large?
Yeah, I think that
No,
it
no,
really
no.
is
They
just
ask
kind
you a
of.
question, you go, hey, 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 I guess that's right.
It's obese. Trying to be politically correct. It's obese.
Oh, I see big people. They be taking.
But
No,
no,
they be
the
sitting
thing
wherever
is-
they tickets say.
That's true, but the thing is, so would they ask a large person to trade seats from somebody with somebody who wasn't as large? Because the large person may
You know,
Block the
sometimes people are
egress.
just too large. I mean, they should have a way of regulating because I know it wasn't the last time I was on the plane, but one of them times I was on the plane, there was a large person who had the outside seat, and I had the seat by the window,
Oh yeah.
and their fat came all the way over to me. What's up?
Oh my
Oh
God.
man, that's not nice.
you man.
Damn.
Is that on the script? That's talking about gross.
Jeez.
The most
I'm just
unpolitically
saying.
correct.
I mean, listen, I've been
No.
in situations. I sat next to somebody who was filling out the seat
Right.
quite nicely, and they weren't necessarily touching me, but they were so big. Their hair was long, and it felt like spiders was like, hey,
Yeah,
what's happening?
yeah.
I was like, hey,
No,
yo.
but see what kind of question I'm have? How do they estimate the weight? because you don't know. Like you've got 200 people on the plane.
Well, they
So
should
big-
just make the seats
Wait,
bigger.
wait, no, it's a
Okay, I'm with you on that.
No, I'm not talking about space. I'm talking about how do they estimate the weight of the plane? Because the plane can only take off if it weighs under so much. You got all the fuel in the wings. You
Well,
got all these people.
you just
you
don't
don't
know.
know.
No, they've had to have calculated that by now. As
No, that's
long
what
as
I'm
planes
saying.
been in
But I'm
there.
just going, how do they do that? Because you don't know.
I don't know.
You may have a whole plane load of obese people.
Well, that ain't gonna happen.
Okay.
How do you know it ain't gonna happen?
Because I ain't gonna get on it.
And not your plane, but I mean, so I'm saying it's like it's amazing. It amazes me how these calculations are because these planes,
Yeah.
you know, it's like shit. I only weigh like 150 pounds. My ass can't stay up in the air, but these planes weigh 70 tons, and they just be.
I don't know. I can't imagine that there has not been a plane full of
Fat
people going to fat camp.
Well,
I
no,
can't
that's
imagine
what-
that it hasn't happened. So yeah, it's just
So
you know.
I'm saying it's like they have to really over-calculate what the plane can
Absolutely.
carry.
Well, when they build a plane,
You know.
load it up with weights, right?
Right, but the whole thing is, it has to. Them boys had to have slide back in the day. They were
Oh, they had
slide
slide
ruling their
rules,
ass
yeah,
off, and
yeah.
they didn't have computers like they got now. We're
Right.
talking like when the 707 came out,
They over.
they had computers,
Yeah.
but nothing on the scale we got now. So it's like, I was just, you know, in my mind curious, how did they figure that weight? Because
Yeah.
you don't know the weight of the passengers. You can't just say, well, everybody on the plane is going to weigh X amount, because you don't know. You have little kids, you have babies, you have service animals that weigh 30
my
pounds.
assumption.
yeah.
You're right. I don't know how it works. My
You know?
assumption is that they know a max weight.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
so they know a max weight, and give with the fuel and
The
however
luggage.
many seats, they probably overestimate
Yeah.
people's
Yeah,
weights
they overbid
on a
it.
general. They probably say everybody who we expect weighs 250 pounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That way you can have a.
It's just,
What's the regular size?
Okay.
No,
Oh my gosh.
no.
Okay, now I'm not gonna lie. This conversation started to hurt my head listening to it.
No,
As I was
look.
trying to end it.
No, but look, it's like an elevator. You see a little sign said 1,500 pounds.
Yeah.
Now how you know who's gonna be getting in the elevator?
Well, like David said, you're regular. You're regular. You're regular.
Wow, shit.
No offense, Tubby.
No, but I mean it's just you know, I mean like in the elevators I know how they do
Okay,
it.
so okay.
But anyway,
I took
moving right
finance,
along.
and this is for real.
What?
Like what you say is correct. You know the maximum load of the plane full of fuel,
Right.
and that determines how much you loaded. And if you got if you're pretty good size and the person that wants to fly with you, you're probably not overloaded. But if you carry enough fuel, like you're going elk hunting in Alaska, you may have to leave an elk or something behind.
But here's the deal. Actually, what they do is they put a bunch of weights in the seats, and they all weigh like everything weighs 300 plus pounds. So
Yeah.
they figure that out, and then they say, well, theoretically, we'll never have
Right.
everybody on the plane weighing 300 pounds. So
They work
okay,
back-
that's
they work
one
backwards.
way they could do it.
Yeah.
You know, but with a slide rule, it makes a little difference
The slide
now
rules was
than
pretty cool.
this shit here. So you know.
I tried to buy a slide rule.
I have a question.
Old
Did
days.
Clarence Thomas and his wife, Nina, or whatever her name was, did they
Gina.
have kids?
Damn if I know.
What's
that was
the
an
other
album
one's
made
name?
by
What's the other one's name?
the other what?
Kid.
I don't know. You got damn if I know.
Okay,
and-
damn it, I know. I know, did not work.
and
I
whatever.
thought you were answering this question.
No, well,
One is damn as I know.
But we never asked you what names did you discard instead of naming your child that.
Hey,
You
the,
named your
the
children
producer,
this.
in order to save time, said he will skip me.
No, I never said that.
I don't remember any of that being
The
said.
conversation just walked away.
But somebody interjected before you had your turn, because I said, you know,
Yeah.
and that's another thing. If I hadn't been directed to name my child after me, in the line.
Yeah.
My wife was talking about Byron Sebastian.
Violent.
Byron.
Oh, Byron. Sebastian.
I don't want no kid with initials BS. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that's
Besides,
And he would have had a terrible time when that Tyler Perry movie came out. Everybody would be like, Byron.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know,
well,
you
it's
don't
just
want to
like
do
my
that to him.
daughter. And like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah.
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 So,
So,
that's
you
true.
know. But anyway, back to you.
Yeah. My oldest child it's a girl, Danielle,
Yeah.
and for some reason in my head, and it probably had something to do with marijuana. It's like, well, I want to name her Chocolate. You know, my first.
I know a lady named Chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I had not thought that through very far. Other than, it sounds cute. And it's like, well, what you gonna do when she discovers, boy, hey, is Chocolate here? You know, I want to get some of that chocolate. So it's like, okay, so that's a bad idea.
They just ask her if she's there. You be like, you know what? I don't like the way you said her name. I'm taking this disrespect.
Right.
Watch your mouth.
Right. And then
Unfortunately, your
then
wife.
Damien, my oldest boy, I got held behind. Well, why you name him Damien? That's the devil. It's like, are you stupid? Father Damien worked with the lepers. Well, we don't have lepers in Seattle. Okay, well,
that you know of.
okay. And then my youngest son is Gareth.
Gareth.
Sounds like an adjective, right? So the story behind that is my mom wanted to name me Gareth behind a play, Gareth and Lynette. But back in the 50s, you don't name a black boy Gareth. I mean, you're on this
You do if you
the
wanted.
wrong trail right out the gate.
You do if you wanted to get an interview.
Let me get an interview sight unseen. My name is Gareth.
You know, if you over the phone, you want to set up an interview. At least he get it. Now, once he got there, things
Right.
would change. But at least he get.
Yeah,
Rather than if you named him normal
right.
names that are associated with black people.
So that's the history of mine. What's the most unique? I don't want to say strange. What's the most unique name you've heard for a child of any race?
Remember, yeah, no. Remember when we were in school, and there was a track guy, a track star,
Park.
Chinese. His last name was Ang, and his parents named him Park.
Park
Park, yes.
Remember him?
Yeah.
He was a state champion sprinter.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I'm thinking, damn, what? I don't know. Maybe it translated it different from Chinese or whatever. I don't know. But
Well, he knew he always going to have a job, no matter
Park.
parking.
Well, you know what? We had two brothers at my school. Their names. What was their first name? Sunlight and Starlight.
Mm-hmm.
They were brothers. And I was like, those is.
Hippie
They were
parents.
Korean, I think.
Hippie parents. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was like, that's y'all
but
name,
the thing
huh?
is, a lot of times they'll name children something in their language, and
Right.
then when it translates
Right,
into
right.
English, this is what it is, and
Right.
so you know. But yeah, that was interesting, you know.
Weirdest name I ever heard was from an African person. It was.
You know him? I met his sister. She was good.
Y'all ain't no good, man.
I felt terrible saying it.
Well, why are you laughing?
And the thing is,
Why
we're
you laughing?
encouraging him because we're laughing.
And actually, I'm about to say, I know you ain't saying that. You were the first one that gave an off color, like, hey, man, you can't say that.
Again.
All
You
right.
knew her cousin.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was
She was
just.
kind of cute.
I called her Shh for short. All right.
Okay.
So, do you have a notebook? I got one for you. You guys probably. I have to show you
What?
a name, the most unusual name I've seen.
Oh, wait, here, I have a piece of paper.
He was waiting for you.
People don't know what that is. That piece of paper, there's something you write on.
Yeah.
People do
Profile.
as opposed to
And next week we'll talk about a phone booth. But anyway,
They still got them. They just don't have no phones in them.
they have them on Whidbey Island.
If you know it, don't say it out loud. Just pass it.
That's an interesting name.
Yeah. It's a real name.
Okay, and how would you pronounce that? Or how did
That's why I
they?
said. That's why I said don't say.
How
It.
did-
Is this the first and last name, or is this the first name?
Oh, that's first name.
So how did they pronounce it?
I think I can imagine what it sounds like. Oh,
how did they
here.
pronounce it?
Let's focus in. Can we see? Focus. Okay. Well, I'll put it in.
Anyway, so how? Okay, for the third time, how is it? How did they pronounce it?
Ladasha.
What the hell? All right.
I'm not making that up. Okay.
well, on that note,
I'll put it in editor. I'll let him see what.
on that note,
Dasher.
it's time for us to get the heck out of here.
It's time for us to dash it.
We done had lots of fun.
Yeah.
We've discussed the world's problems. We've solved some of them, and it's time to go. So, see y'all later.
We might even created some problems.
Oh Lord, who knows?
Yeah. So Anyway, I'm still the real Cliff Barnes, and we will see you next time.
And I am your favorite street philosopher. I may not be, but I should be. And if I'm not, that's on you. Get back to me. We'll get it fixed.
Peace
Love.
and soul.
Yes. Sir. Oh, I don't have my Don Cornelius with me.
Don